This is coming from somebody, by the way, who cannot rap me. I literally, I cannot. This guy makes me seem like I'm Eminem. Like, I am literally the rap god compared to this guy.
Brave, woke religion got me saved. Grifting for the fucking pay. I'm Hunter, don't forget the name.
Wowzer, wow. Gold Wolf. Oh, hey, he's here right now. Your rap was definitely clever in some parts. I appreciated the Rachel Maddow part, and the dairy-free thing was a pretty solid bar. Other than that, though, nah, it was kind of weak. I'm sorry. It was kind of a shit song.
It's okay, it's okay. I mean, I'd rather have a shit song than shit ideas, but I will give you...
You know, somebody made a diss track in response to me, so now I'm making a diss track in response to them. You know that? You guys want to see the diss track made in response to me? It's by, like, some tiny channel with under 1,000 subs. I don't really care, though, because it's like, again, I've always been of the opinion that regardless of your channel size, if you call me out or have an opinion to voice or anything really, then you can respond. Then I can respond. I don't care even if you have like 2 subscribers. Everybody's opinion is valid. Did you make everything beat and all? I did not make the beat, but I wrote the lyrics and then rapped it and then edited it and shit, which is probably why it's mixed so terribly. Because I don't have very much experience with audio. So this guy did a response to me called Blue Pill Fiend instead of Red Pill Fiend. And of course it's like incredibly shit. Like, it's so bad. He tried to copy the look of my music video and he used the same beat. This is coming from somebody, by the way, who cannot rap at all. Me. I literally, I cannot. This guy makes me seem like I'm Eminem. Like, I am literally the rap god compared to this guy. Like, this shouldn't even be called rap. It should be called rape because it hurts my ears so bad.
Once upon a time, I was a man on the right. I was base, not the press. Girls looked at me twice. I got owned by Bosch. Now I need a new grip. So I turned to the left to repent for my sin. I was triggered one night in a friendly debate. I wanted to win, so I called him a name. With my hand-picked studies, I can't lose. There's no way. Started eating the soy. Now I talk like I'm gay. Happened so fast, got the press feeling ill. But by sheer virtue, I took a gulp of the blue pill. What's the deal? Talk the bill. Epstein Island wasn't real. My wife feeling unfulfilled. My penis needs a fucking pill. Happened so fast, got the press feeling ill. But by sheer virtue, I took a gulp of the blue pill. What's the deal? Talk the bill. Epstein Island wasn't real. My wife feeling unfulfilled. My penis needs a fucking pill. How many genders? Easily there's 97. Not a bigot. Did I mention trans women be the baddest? Wanna be like Destiny, but I am stuck up in his shadow. Wanna be a good liberal, do my hair like Rachel Maddow. In bed with my wife.
That was a decent rap, but other than that, everything else is shit here.
Now it's time to get laid. She turns off the lights and pretends that I'm Tate. Emotion is my logic, I am feeling so invested. I love minivans, CNN, and antidepressants. When behind the keyboard, I am feeling very bold. Never catch me in the gym because it's toxic for my soul. Trump leaves me kinda rattled. Trigger me, I'll go and tattle. Get a strike up on your channel. For the women, I will battle. I tried as I did, still the views won't come on to me. I fight for Biden, don't need meat, and not to mention dairy free. I just want to force my beliefs so you'll be like me, a good person, more virtuous than you'll ever be. Happened so fast, got the press feeling ill. But by sheer virtue, I took a gulp of the blue pill. What's the deal? Talk the bill. Epstein Island wasn't real. My wife feeling unfulfilled. My penis needs a fucking pill. If I don't like it, I'll call you a racist. Cannot contend with the facts, so I talk shit. If I don't like it, I'll call you a racist. Cannot contend with the facts, so I talk shit. I cannot stand the whites unless it's Blair that I like. If you think men should have rights, then you and me are gonna fight. Killing babies, that is brave. Woke religion got me saved. Grifting for the fucking pay. I'm Hunter, don't forget the name.
Wow. Wowzer, wow. Gold Wolf. Oh, hey, he's here right now. The guy that I'm doing a diss track in response to.
Hey, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Hello.
Hey, sorry about that, buddy. I'm so bad with technology.
No, it's okay. I could tell the auto-tune was pretty bad anyway, so... No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't as bad as yours. You gotta be honest, Hunter. Come on now.
Well, it depends on what you mean by bad. So, like, music-wise, mine sounded far superior and was way tighter in the rhymes. But, I mean...
Well, since you used the word superior, I'll give you that. I'll give you
Your
that.
your rap was definitely clever in some parts. I appreciated the Rachel Maddow part, and the dairy free thing was a pretty solid bar. Other than that,
Hey,
though, nah, it was kind of weak. I'm sorry, it was kind of a shit song.
it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I'd rather have a shit song than shit ideas, but I will give you credit where credit is due. Um, I'm not like full red pill. I mean, I agree with more of like that side of the debate than the side that you're repping. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give you credit where it's due, dude. Like, I actually did crack out laughing at your song, and I think it went pretty hard. Like, you should rap more often, bro. Because even though
I
I
am. I'm
disagree
doing a
with
diss
like,
track back to you, buddy.
oh, dude, no, I'm scared. You're gonna make
Yes.
me go into hiding. Are we gonna have a rap beef now?
No, I don't think we're gonna have a rap beef. I think that the better beef, at least to cover right here while you're on, is the ideas that you clearly disagree with me on. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna be like taking everything you said in your rap as being like your big argument, but I mean, you did
Mhm.
say a couple things like the suggesting that like I'm grifting and shit like that's pretty cringe, kind of been dealt with already and addressed so many times. Like, do you genuinely think I'm grifting here?
Yes and no. So like I do think okay, so to be honest, I don't know too much about your career. With all due respect, Hunter, I don't really care that much. But I am, I've been around the block long enough to know that people do change their minds. Matter of fact, I've changed my minds on a bunch of things growing up. It's
But
actually
why
my
does me
birthday.
changing my mind the one who is being grifty?
Well, you gonna let me finish or are you just gonna interrupt me?
No,
So
I'm
like
I'm
what I was
asking a
gonna
clarifying question. Please continue.
no, it's fine. I will continue. Thanks for your thumbs up to continue. But what I will say is that I'm in my later 20s now and I've been interested in politics since I was 12. I changed my mind a ton. So I don't think you're a grifter because you changed your mind, but I did think it was pretty interesting. I mean, I could be off on the timeline exactly, but it seems like you changed your mind pretty damn quick. Like you went from like, pretty based and then like full on, liberal soy boy, like to the fullest extreme. I think the only thing I heard you say that I even still to this day could agree with, I was watching your YouTube shorts, something about how you can be racist against white people. Honestly, dude, it made me spit water out my mouth because I couldn't believe that you would admit that.
Well,
But
because I
anyway,
think that stems from the fact that you seem to have more of a caricature in your mind about me. Like, I recognize that from an outside perspective, it may have looked like I changed my politics quickly. This just was not the case. I mean, you talked about the debate with Vosh in your diss track, but like,
mm,
I debated Vosh at the beginning of 2019. That entire year, I was invested in introspection, doing my own research, looking shit up. And you could even see this reflected in my still conservative content. I was toning down massively on like the transphobic jokes or whatever.
right,
Even when I talked about Jessica Yaniv, who, by the way, is like an unhinged monster, I was like, hey, this person's a piece of shit, but that doesn't mean that like all trans people are bad or to blame here. So
right.
even when I was making conservative content, it was kind of apparent, granted, subtly at the time, but it was subtly apparent at least that my views were changing. And then I didn't even announce that I left the right until like early 2020. And then even there, my views continued to change and evolve. And I don't know. I don't see how this is a grifty thing. Like,
Oh, that's
I
fair.
don't think you're
Can I
using the term grifter correctly.
can I ask you a question now about that? You said so like you were looking into different your views were switching like a year prior to you can't come out and announce that you no longer were on the right. Is that correct?
No, they weren't like switched. It wasn't like I was like a lefty secretly making right wing content, but it
Okay,
was
that's what
rather
I was
that
going to
like
ask
in
you.
real time. No, like in real time, as my views were sort of evolving, you could see it reflected in the video that I would maybe make that week, right?
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. No, listen, man, and I know that that was something that would dig at you a little bit because I know that's an accusation you get. Listen, dude, I'm
I'm
not in
sorry
your
to cut you
mind.
off again, but it's not just
Yeah,
an
go ahead.
accusation. It's just like a thing people say that's so embarrassingly wrong. Nobody really says it anymore. So like, do you really know what a grifter is? Do you like how do
Yeah,
I fit that
yes, yeah,
definition?
yes, Hunter. Now you're going to ask me to define a grifter,
I
and look,
am.
I'm just gonna. Okay, so a grifter is somebody who pretty much like goes and switches up their views, or maybe panders to a certain position for monetary gain or clout or something. I'm sure there's more to it. You're probably going to say, actually, it
No, no, no,
means
no, no.
this.
You're right. You're
Like,
right. The only thing I
okay,
would add
okay.
is it's usually disingenuous. Like just
Oh
pandering
yeah, yeah,
to a
no, no,
base is
for sure,
obviously
for
fine,
sure.
but
Hundred
disingenuously.
percent. 100%. I was being like I'll admit I was being disingenuous when I called it when I said that to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew it would just be like, oh fuck this guy. I'm not a grifter. I know you're sick of hearing this shit, and honestly, I would be too. I mean, I've been called a grifter too because I make right wing content in addition to music, and somebody's always gonna accuse you of doing it for a paycheck, bro. You see my YouTube? It's not that big. I ain't making money. It's a fucking hobby, if anything. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think when people like on the right or the left get accused of being a grifter, oftentimes it is disingenuous, which mine was in the diss song. It's not my
Okay.
favorite bar. I think we agree that the Rachel Maddow bar is probably the best one, but
The Rachel
no, I
Maddow
just
bar was pretty good, and I also think that's kind of funny because yeah, I do have like the sort of puffy, like lesbian looking hair, which is funny. But like,
you had the lesbian look, dude. Come
but
on.
it's just it's you have to understand how it comes off though, right? When you're like, yo, I'm gonna diss Hunter, even though I get it's a diss
Oh
track.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah,
you made
yeah.
like a hit piece video on me, but still, like you
No,
took the
no, not
time
at
to make
all.
a response, and now we're talking. You're like walking back what you said already in one of
No,
the
I'm
points
not.
about me
I'm
being
not
a grifter.
walking back.
You
I'm
said you
being
don't really think
respectful.
I'm a grifter. You were just trying to get at me.
I'm suspicious, but if I had to put my money on it, I wouldn't do that. I think people can change their minds, and that's fair. And you did bring a little clarification to that. I did just say to you, it seemed like it happened overnight. But again, I never like closely studied your audience. Matter of fact, my friend trolled you a couple times, and I thought it was pretty hilarious that you're like this intellectual thought leader of the soy people, and he trolled you now for a total of 2 hours, and you still haven't figured it out. He was the it's okay to cheat guy and the Andrew Tate fanboy that kept calling you a bot. You're a bot.
Oh no,
And
I know the bot guy was a
oh, you
troll.
knew
I
you knew he
I
was a
found that
troll.
out
Okay,
after he
okay.
wasted my time. Yeah.
After, dude, come on, it took you that long to figure that out.
Listen, the amount of people I've talked to, it's tough, okay? Because I get put in a weird position where yeah, I'm getting the vibe that like this person cannot be serious. But then
Right.
I also don't want to look like anytime somebody says something that I think is kind of loony, I'm just like, you're a troll, and then kick them off. So because I've talked to enough genuinely crazy people like that who do say everything's a bot or whatever, um, it's tough for me to just be like, no, you're a troll, and then just kick them. Because
That's actually fair. That's
I'm
fair.
risking
I
like
do.
they could very well be genuine. So that's why I
You know.
usually ask, like, "Are you trolling? What are you doing here?" But like, what else
Right.
then? What about my views do you not agree with? Because the thing that I feel like stuck out the most, aside from the
Mhm.
grifter thing, which we've now kind of dealt with, um, was you saying that like I don't if I bring up or if you talk about men's rights, then we're gonna fight. Like I'm all about men's rights. I'm totally chill with that.
No, no, I got you. I know you are. I've actually seen some of your other content. I mean, I think you don't see the bigger picture. I think there was like a 4 versus 4 panel debate. Before we get into this, Hunter, 'cause we're probably going to stay here for a couple minutes. I do want to say though, like, I do understand where you're coming from on the whole. You don't know who's trolling, who's not. Like, things are getting so far to the left and to the right and divided that, I do this character called Lenny the Liberal. I put on like a blue wig and wear a COVID mask, even though I'm in my room by myself, and I just get offended at like the stupid as shit.
Mhm.
And a ton of right wing people who like my content, I swear to God, they like, who the fuck's this liberal with the blue hair? What? It's a $15 wig, dude, from Amazon. It's like the most obvious troll, and people are coming at me like threatening my like right wingers. People I typically
Mhm.
agree with are like threatening me, like, what the fuck is this? You're a fucking liberal. I'm like, dude, you can't tell this is a troll. Like, so okay, I will. I just wanted to add to that, but yeah. So back to
Okay.
what you asked me. No, no, I think that you do miss the point though. Like you're definitely not like anti men's rights, but I heard a 4 versus 4 panel debate. I think it was Alex Stein. Well, I love Alex Stein, by the way. He actually, if you couldn't tell, maybe inspired some of my
I mean,
trolling I
I
just
know
did
that
to
he's
you.
a troll, yeah, and the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like him very much just because I can appreciate a good troll, I can, I mean, I troll too, so, like, I get it, but at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time, if your entire thing is like, "I have no principles, barely any real positions, I just wanna get a rise out of people," I feel like that's
Mhm.
kinda, like, weak.
Well, now to be fair though, don't you think that you were doing some of that with the red pill stuff, with the red pill diss track?
Um,
And it's okay. Like,
Trolling? Well, hold on, there's a
yeah.
big difference between, like, somebody doing a diss track in which it's kind of apparent already that this is supposed to be, like, not all that serious compared to Alex Stein, who's, like he'll be on, like, Fox News, right? Like, saying shit to troll, or, like there's a difference between me getting up here and, like, pretending I hold a position in order to get a rise out of people versus
Mhm.
me, like, cleverly writing a rap in which I diss, like, the general red pill community. I don't think these are
You don't
really
think we did the
comparable.
same thing though? Like, okay, yeah, I agree with you and Alex, but you don't think that you and I did the same thing with the red pill, blue pill thing?
Most of what I said in my red pill rap, even though it was funny and maybe written a little bit like a reduction just because it's a fucking rap, I feel
Mhm.
like I could probably defend it. But your rap thus
Fair
far,
enough.
you've kind of walked back already, like multiple things you've said.
No, I'm just trying
You're
to be
like, oh, the
respectful here.
grifter thing, maybe it's not fair. Okay. Oh, well, I know you care about men's rights, but it's like
No,
I
no,
can
no, no,
defend
no,
my
no,
rap.
hold up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, listen, hold on, Hunter. Don't put words in my mouth because I asked you about the grifter thing, and I told you where I was coming from. You brought clarification, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But I never said for a second that you fully understand the men's rights issue. Never said that. I think that you are more open-minded and maybe understanding about it than a lot of people on your side. But again, I was watching that 4x4 debate. Alex Stein, we got off track. Nick Fuentes, who I don't agree with a lot of what that guy says.
Okay.
I don't know some of the other people, and then there was you, and then your other three people. And to be honest, I thought that even though I disagree, I think the debate was, is there a war on men? And even though I disagree with a lot of the positions taken by the people on your side, I thought that there was good arguments. And then I felt like you were just doing a bunch of name calling and shit, which is why I threw the whole, I want to win, so I called him a name line in there.
Okay.
But no, I
Yeah,
think
you know,
I
I
just
can I clarify
yeah,
that
yeah.
because
Go ahead.
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like for some reason people get super hung up when I like insult or name call, but everybody just turns a blind eye when like Stein was mocking me the entire time. He was calling me like trans or whatever to try to get a diss at me. Fuentes was mocking me and making fun. Like me and Fuentes were basically having like a little roast war
Yeah,
on the
you were.
panel. So like for it to be framed as Hunter's just name calling, no. We were on a heated panel in which multiple people were name calling and attacking each other because that's what happens on those massive heated panels. But I also made arguments. And I know I made arguments because I never just show up in a panel or a debate to just name call. I don't do that because I recognize that
Mhm.
that's a waste of my time and it's also really not very enlightening for anybody to watch. So I know that I made arguments as well. And are you so like are you saying that because I said there might not be a war on men per se that means I don't value men's rights as much or I don't get it? Because I don't think you need to say there's a war on men, which sounds very like calculated. I don't think you need to say that to be in favor of like general, hey, men have problems that are unique to men. And I think that we need to talk about it and address it. And acting like men are to blame for all the problems like women face or whatever is a fucking stupid approach to take. Like I can have those opinions and not believe that there's like this intentional war on men.
Do you think there's a war on women?
Did I say that I think there's a war on women during the thing?
No, I'm asking if you. I know, I know. I'm just asking you if you think that.
Okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, it's
Do I
cool.
think there's like a war on women? No, I don't think there's a war on women. I think that both anybody saying there's like a war on women or men, I think that that's definitely reductionist and hyperbolic.
That's
But
interesting.
again, I think
I'm
there's
actually
unique
surprised you
problems
said
women
that.
struggle with that are unique to the fact that they are women, just like I think there's unique struggles men struggle with that are unique to the fact that they're men.
Okay. Okay. Well, I was trying to set you up for a gotcha, but no, I actually agree with that. I think that we both do. Men and women both do have their own unique issues, 100%. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think you fully grasp just how you're going to disagree with this, but and I think this is why Andrew Tate, people like him, get so much appeal. Is like men face different challenges like women do. Like obviously a woman can be overpowered by a man, get assaulted, right? A man can get falsely accused, and both things happen. I think both things are terrible. However, when a man, assaults a woman, he gets locked up as he should. Matter of fact, I think the punishment should be even worse, but I can't say it. I don't want to get your channel in trouble.
Hmm.
But it seems like a woman can just make an accusation against a man, oftentimes with no evidence, and it can ruin the man's life, even if he doesn't go to. I mean, look at what Johnny Depp went through. Not the best example because it ended up, he ended up getting through that and winning and
And he
whatnot.
well, it's also like he
But he went
did a
through a lot
lot
of
of
shit,
fucked up shit, and she did fucked up shit also. It's the
That's fair.
Johnny Depp thing. I feel like they were just in a really toxic relationship. I wouldn't be comfortable being like it was his fault or it was her fault, and I think that's why they ultimately both had to pay each other shit for defamation. But like so like I agree with you in the sense that yes, if somebody is falsely accusing men of rape or assault or anything, that's super fucked up, and I think that that person should go to prison because obviously filing a false police report is a crime, right? So like
I
I
would say
agree
it's
with you
worse
there,
than
but
that.
I don't agree with the approach that this is like this big epidemic issue right now because rape, at least statistically, is very underreported. The amount of rape reports that are false are even tinier. So like there's a fraction of an already underreported thing in which like a few guys might be wrongly accused. And I'm not downplaying it because anybody being wrongly accused is fucked. But I just don't like the approach that this is like the big problem right now. Like the war on men. Women are all falsely accusing them kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Now, what other bars do you want to discuss and talk about?
I mean, we agree then on the men's right thing?
Actually, I think we agree more than I thought we were going to, which is surprising. I mean, I kind of want to like go throw up that I agree with Hunter Avallone.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
It's and I do want to say, since we did brush up on it too, you said I don't just call people names. You know, it's not. I forget exactly what you said. It's not like the best way to go about a debate. I haven't watched all your content. You know what I'm saying? But the content I have watched, it does seem like you do resort to name calling. Maybe not as much anymore. Am I mistaken? Did I see a video where you or a comment that you threw out there about like you want to improve on or not, resorting to name calling as much? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up in my head.
I
I don't
think
know
I
if
know
it
what you're
was like,
talking about. Is
was it
that
like Vosh critiqued you or something, and you're like, hey, I'll work on that, or I don't know.
no,
You
it
know what I'm
wasn't. It
talking
had
about?
nothing. It had nothing to do with Vosh.
Okay.
It was I think what it is that especially when my earlier time on YouTube when I was really breaking into the debate
Hmm.
field, I would definitely come across much more condescending, and I also would like insult and throw digs more often.
Okay.
What you're probably remembering is because I remember mentioning this before at some point. I don't remember when, but that I still love throwing insults. I like roasting people. Like it's fun. But
Yeah.
now I'm more focused on, reading the room, reading the energy. Like you're here, we're debating. I'm not going to just start like calling you a dumb fuck like soy boy or whatever. But then if you're over here calling me a bunch of names, being aggressive, then yeah, I'll probably drop an insult.
No,
So
that's fair.
now I've just tried to adjust my approach to debates to be more like, go off their energy first. So I recognize that like I've had problems in the past sometimes with being too quick to like throw an insult, I guess, but I just feel like that's leagues above like I just name call and don't actually debate because that's
Mhm.
bullshit.
No, for sure, for sure. I hear what you're saying. And you're actually a pretty good debater. I think you do a little bit too much relying on like the handpicked studies. I think,
Maybe
I
that's
know
what we
what you're
should
gonna,
talk
I know
about.
what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. I already know where this is going. But
What
yeah,
am
we
I
can
going to
talk
say?
about that. Okay, you're gonna say, actually, I mean, you're a conservative. You don't like statistics and facts, and I have evidence. This is the evidence. Sorry, I didn't mean to do the impersonation. I'm having fun with this.
It's fine. You're not going to offend me. It's
Oh, come on! I'm not gonna offend you. I offended you. The first you started your show off by playing the Blue Pill track. Come on,
yeah,
dude.
because I'm making fun of it. Making fun of it is
Come
not
on, man.
offending it. Okay, hold up. If we're gonna go that approach, then I
I'm
offended
playing.
you
I'm playing.
first because you made the diss track on me. So
I know it's fair. Go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm wondering why why you feel that I like hand pick studies because I get this accusation a lot about the study thing,
You
and
do it a lot.
I bring up studies a lot, yes, because I think that it's really valuable, and I do think that it's evidence. But I also think that when people say like, "Oh, you're just handpicking studies," am I? Where's the study showing otherwise? Where's the counter study? Like, no, anybody who ever accuses me of cherry picking a study never actually has a study that was different. Cherry picking would have to be that the most or the majority of data seems to suggest one thing, but I found like this one study by transpeoplearethebest.com, and then that's just the one study I
Right,
cling to.
right.
That is not what I do. I've even gone over the data that like certain studies that seem to suggest a different result than like what a lot of the research does in regards to trans people or masculinity or whatever. So I don't know. I don't feel like I cherry pick shit.
Okay, so I hear you. But what I'll say is like, okay, so let's say I'm doing a study on, I don't know, public opinion on should we ban so-called assault weapons, right? Now, if I went to like fucking Texas or some shit, backwoods Texas, and knocked on every rancher's house door and was like, "Hey, yes or no, should we ban semi-automatics?" Or vice versa, I go to like some woke New York State college and I ask them the same question. I could go there and then I could ask 2,000 people, "Hey, should we ban scary guns that are black and have attachments?" That's what an assault weapon is, according to your side. And obviously, a good 90% of them are probably going to say yes. Whereas if I go into
Mhm.
Texas and ask them that, 90% of them are probably going to say, "Hell no, you better not take my guns." You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
No, I
I feel
totally
like,
do, but that's called having a biased a biased selection or a biased sample.
and that's the
So
point, Hunter, because
well, no, it's
I've
not
heard you,
because wait, hold
no,
on, please.
Hunter,
Because a
okay,
lot of the studies
you
that I
cut me
cite,
off, but
well, the studies I cite are not like, here's the interview of Texas. Usually, if I'm going to be citing a study, it's looking at a large proportion of data. It's not just like, we isolated this in the state of Texas, and the majority said they don't want to ban guns. So the majority of Americans don't want to ban guns. Like, no, I don't think that that's the approach I've ever taken.
I'm pretty sure I've heard you recite studies. And again, I don't watch all your content, so I'm trying my best here. But I do think I've heard you recite studies from like the CDC and shit before.
I may
Is that
have with
true?
COVID shit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't you think that there might be some type of centralization, corruption, biases? I mean, Again, I want to be respectful and not get you in trouble on your channel,
You're
but I'm
not going to
sure
get
we
me in
can go.
trouble. And yeah, of course there could be biases or whatever, but this is why whenever I have this conversation, I always have brought up that like, if you don't want to go with the CDC data, that's
Mm.
fine. There's other data that is in line with what the CDC data already found,
Pfizer.
which hold on, which is done in other countries where the CDC was not involved. I know there was a study done in Israel where they looked at the what was it, what is it that they always say? Transmission. They looked at the transmission of COVID in households specifically. And they found that as far as people in the household in close proximity, the people who were vaccinated had lower transmission rates. So, like stuff like that. The CDC is probably going to say something similar as well. But here's a study that came from Israel. The CDC is not involved there.
Fair enough. But what about Sweden? We don't want to talk about Sweden.
I do want to talk about Sweden. I'm fine
Let's
talking
talk
about
about
Sweden.
Sweden.
The fact that they didn't do the lockdowns.
That and they went off of herd immunity, which ended up being more effective in the end.
Wait, no, it didn't. If you look at them compared to the surrounding regions, they had the highest death rate. And even the fucking leader of Sweden, I don't know, the health guy, whatever his name was or position, he even said that, like, yeah, we could have done this better. We could have done this differently.
Interesting. You had the study for that?
Yes.
I figured you did. No, but okay. I mean, I'm not an expert on Sweden, but I don't know, man. It just seemed to me like if you're gonna say, well, this other government did a study on this and they said the same thing. I mean, look, man, I don't want to get all conspiratorial on you because you're just gonna point and laugh and accuse me of believing in flat Earth, which I don't. I've been on a plane. The Earth is round. I'm just saying, dude, that
I'll send this
look,
to you.
man. Okay, thanks. But
I'll show this here on screen. I'm sorry, I know I'm cutting you off, but just
no, that's
really
okay.
quickly, just for the stream. Cumulative number of coronavirus deaths in the Nordic countries as of January 13th, 2023. Sweden is at 22,000. The closest is Finland at only 8.4K. So yeah, they're having way higher rates of death. Largely because, yeah, they didn't do any of the lockdowns or restrictions. But I would probably actually agree with you in some of this stuff too, that like, okay, in hindsight, maybe the lockdowns, the way that we went about that probably wasn't the best approach. A lot of people's businesses were hurt, and that really sucks. But it was kind of like it's hard to make a decision because it's like, do you risk people's health? Do you risk the business? It's tough to do. We would probably agree on that. But as far as Sweden, no, it's pretty obvious that they had the highest rate of deaths. And so I don't think bringing them up is a very good idea.
Well, okay, fair enough. I'll give you that. I don't know why your chat's hating so hard. I think we're actually having a fairly productive conversation. I thought we'd be calling each other names by now.
I think we're having a productive convo. It's just, it's tough for me when I feel like people hate and stuff, and it's fine to hate, it's fine to diss or whatever, but then like when we talk, I feel like it's very like, oh, well, maybe we can come to a common ground, LOL, but like, where's the energy that you had originally, you know? That's why I think it comes across like you're backtracking a little.
No, I'm just trying to be respectful. I mean, I can completely be an asshole. I'd rather not, you know. And you're also bringing them on your platform, and I just want to show, show respect. But no, we're not coming together that much. I believe that there's two genders, male and female. I don't think it's rocket science or complicated. I'm waiting for the actually. See, I can do this. I just rather not. You know, I mean, the thing is, dude, if you make a good point, Hunter, I'm not gonna just argue with you for the sake of arguing. I don't think that's productive whatsoever. Now, you can accuse me of backtracking. What I think I'm doing is getting to know you better. Like, for example, just throwing it out there that I think you were grifting. Potentially, you explained it. I'll give you credit where it's due. Fair enough, right? But is there any other bars that you want to talk about? Because maybe we can find some type of ground where we're not as friendly about. I don't know.
I think that it's like, I think that, again, like kind of like what I said at the beginning, I think a lot of people have like a caricature in their mind of me, and a lot of people are under the impression, similar to kind of how your diss tracks communicated, like,
I think you have a caricature
I'm just
of
like
Red
this.
Pill.
I'm just like, I'm this insane lefty. I've gone off the deep end. Oh, he's crazy. I'm like, no, I shit on communists. I think communism is a joke. The two gender thing, yeah, I agree with you. There's two genders right now. Now we would
That's not
probably
what I heard you say.
well, we would probably disagree as far as why there are two genders, and if it's actually a result of biology. We might disagree on the separation between sex and gender. Maybe that's a disagreement we have. But like, as far as how many genders are there right now, descriptively, there are two genders. Yeah.
So do you really believe that it is a social a social construct to have female roles and male roles?
A social construct to have male roles and female roles? Well, there are some roles that I think do derive from sexual characteristics, in which case that would be, well, sex. But the gender, the social construct side of things, are more of the. I'm trying to think of how to word this without just saying social construct again. It's a result of like humans' expectations. I would say so. Like, there's nothing biological about men wearing suits, but yet we as society have generally collectively agreed that, well, suits are more of a masculine type of dress. But like it wasn't always like that. So there were times, I mean, there even are times now, right, where wearing kilts, what looks like a little skirt, is actually the masculine thing to do. People used to wear tunics, which is a lot like a dress. But nowadays, well, wearing dresses is primarily seen as like a woman thing. So
Mhm.
I'm more just talking about the aspects of gender that are, yes, largely socially constructed.
I mean, I'll give you that if we're talking the icing on the cake, but like, let's go deeper into it. I'm not talking about suits and dresses and kilts and shit. I'm talking about like deeper fucking rooted just ways that male and female are different. Like, I'll agree we're more similar than we're different, right? But we are very different as well. Like, I don't think it's and I'm just trying to go off of like the critiques that you're giving to like maybe the red pill beliefs, right? Again, I
Mhm.
don't subscribe to all of that,
That's fair.
but I definitely lean more on that side of things than not, just from life experience and shit that I have seen. You know what I'm saying? I also get shit on by red pill people because I'm in a relationship as well. I've been in, I have an amazing woman, and she also works and hustles, and she has a bigger YouTube channel than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's okay. Some red pill guys go so far as to be like, oh, well, your girlfriend's making money, she's gonna leave you. Listen, that shit's ridiculous. But I think that they're like 90% on the ball, whereas I think you're off on it, to be honest with you. So if we're not talking about just surface level things like suits and dresses, and
Well,
we're talking
gender
about
expression is a large aspect of the social construct, but sorry to cut you off
fair
again,
enough.
please.
No, it's cool. It's fair. But what I'm talking about is like the shit that, maybe like people who don't like the red pill would critique. Like, well, what do you mean a female can have sex with 200 bodies and then be a good wife? You did it. You're a guy. You did it. Stop being a hypocrite. But it's like, listen, guys get the short end of the stick in judgment on certain things, just like females do. Like, why is something like female promiscuity frowned upon in every single culture all around the world before there was even contact with each other? Like the Aztecs frowned upon it, people in Asia frowned upon it, people in the Middle East frowned upon it. Just like,
Probably be well,
women, just to finish real quick, just like women will oftentimes maybe frown upon a weak man who can't protect them because women are biologically designed to be attracted. I'm not saying there's not exceptions to the rule, but more often than not, they are biologically attracted to a man who can protect and provide. Now, that's not to say that a man can't, be a stay-at-home dad or whatever, but it gets a little. I just think there's something to it, Hunter. And I think when you diss the whole entire quote-unquote red pill community, I can say that that's a bit disingenuous, the same way you're saying that I was being disingenuous,
I
which
don't
I
think so
was.
because I can explain all this pretty easily. Like when you talk about how why was female promiscuity looked down upon, I don't have any studies for this, but my guess, at least off the top of my head, would be because women can get pregnant. So sleeping around as a woman was a very bad idea, considering the fact that, well, if you had a child with another person, then you probably wouldn't find a man that would actually settle down with you. And at the time, since women were, I don't know what women's like position in society was during like the Aztecs or whatever, but odds are they needed a man to a degree at least to survive. So
Mhm.
I would expect that to be something that was heavily discouraged because going out and risking just getting pregnant because you want to have sex is a bad idea. It's irresponsible. It's a bad idea for sure. But like nowadays we have birth control, right? There's a lot of
Right.
preventative measures put in place. But like even this entire thing, just to step back, what does this have to do really with gender? With like usually when I hear the gender stuff being like biological, I hear stuff like, well, women are better at caregiving, or like men are just naturally the providers and shit like this. That that's more of where I you kind of lose me. The anytime you're
We,
gonna
we
argue that like men or women are naturally like this thing, I'm probably gonna it's gonna at least raise a red flag in
okay,
my own
but
mind.
okay. So you brought up. Well, now we have birth control. When did birth control come out? You're the study guy. What was it, like the 50s or something? Six? I don't know. Honestly,
50s
I
or
don't even know.
60s, I don't know.
Something like that. Okay, so you're telling me that not even 100 years is going to change thousands of years of human evolution. Is that what you're telling me?
Wait, no, I not at all. I'm saying that because throughout history, women could get pregnant
Yeah,
and
I
women
know. I
needed to
heard
be with
you.
a man who was committed in order to survive. Sleeping around and risking getting pregnant with somebody else was a very dumb fuck bad idea.
No,
But
I hear
now
you.
we
That's not
have
my
birth
point.
control, so it's not as risky of an idea if a woman so desires to go and have sex with a couple people. I don't think it's 200
Correct.
bodies, okay? I think that it's just not taking the same type of risk as you were in the past.
No, we agree. That is correct, Hunter. I think you're missing the point. Maybe I'm not making myself clear. What I am saying though is that just because the 50s are here, boom, birth control. Yeah, you're right. There it is less risky to go around and live that lifestyle if you're a woman, right? That's not. It doesn't mean that most men aren't going to be repulsed by it. You know, we also we
I'm not
have.
saying I'm not saying they aren't.
But okay, let me put it another way. Okay, we have firearms. We have firearm classes, right? A woman
Mhm.
can buy a firearm, train herself with it to be safe and efficient with it, and it's an equalizer to her getting, fucking taken advantage of, right? That doesn't mean that women are still not going to have that inherent fear of a stranger, a man they don't know. That's why women are more reluctant to want to go on a date with a random stranger until she talks to him or gets to know him, and rightfully
Right.
so. You can't go out with some creep. But just because she can now get a gun, does that mean that she's not going to be hardwired throughout thousands of years of fucking human nature to not want to just go out with some random ass stranger? I'm just saying, like, yeah, like
I don't know how hardwired that would be. I mean, it would really
I would say
depend. I
it's
think
pretty
that
hardwired.
generally speaking, yeah, women are definitely more reserved in that regard. It could be even I'll even grant you, like, yeah, it's possible maybe it does stem from some sense of biology, considering the fact that there is still the risk of them getting pregnant, right? So I'm fine biting those bullets, but usually it's not delivered in this way. It's usually like women are hardwired to be caregivers or stay at home with the kids, or women are better with the kids, or that men should really naturally be the providers. So like, are women hardwired to not want to sleep around? I don't know. And I also don't know if that's a even like a worthwhile conversation to have. Like, are men
Probably not.
hardwired to sleep around? I don't know. Are they?
I think that's pretty obvious, Hunter.
Well, like, there's evidence at least to suggest. I'm not saying it's a fact, but there's evidence at least to suggest that it's actually women. At least, if we're going to appeal to nature, women are actually more naturally promiscuous than men.
You think so?
I mean, that's just what the evidence showed, and I mean, I was shocked
Oh,
as
come on.
well.
Where? From where? What evidence?
I don't know. I'll go pull it up.
From Planned Parenthood?
No, this may have been from a
Yeah.
liberal source,
Um,
because this is old too, which is why I said it's not a fact. Yeah, I mean, it's published, or the Guardian is what's talking about it, but I don't know what actually did this study. Hold on.
you got
Two new
people in your
reports in
chat.
scientific journals have added to a growing body of evidence that females from across the animal kingdom, including birds, bees, fish, scorpions, crabs, reptiles, and mammals, are promiscuous, and researchers say they are convinced human females are the same. It was a
Mm,
report last week in the Proceedings of the U.S. National Academy of Sciences showed for the first time that when a female guppy, freshwater fish, is promiscuous rather than monogamous, she increases the quantity and quality of her offspring. And then the other study was in Nature, which I'm not familiar with the first journal, but Nature is, my understanding at least, pretty decent. The hens mate with several males, but actively choose which sperm they are fertilized by. So I don't know. This is why I don't even care to appeal to nature, though, because like there might be things that are natural human inclinations based on biology, but it doesn't mean that that's how we should be acting, right? Doesn't mean that that's what we should do. Like, there are probably a lot of men who have a natural biological inclination to fuck the hot girl in front of them, but if she says no, well, you shouldn't do it.
mm. Well, son of a bitch, Hunter. I guess I have to break up with my girlfriend and go get a stripper. I gotta find somebody with more bodies. Like I'm convinced.
I'm not
I
saying you
don't know
need to
what.
find
I know I'm joking around. I'm joking
okay.
around. But what other lines did you want to talk about specifically? Because I'm sure I think I know which one's gonna piss you off the most, but I want to hear from you.
And maybe it's one I don't remember. Which one do you think it
Oh,
was?
you remember? You've watched it. Dude, I only got like 120 views on that. I guarantee like 50 of them were from you.
I don't remember which line. I guess I can
Um,
look if you want.
okay.
But like, all right, so we're just gonna we want to just kind of move off of the
No,
biological side of things, because
whatever. We can agree to disagree. I mean, I guess since guppies are more promiscuous, that means that human beings, females, are too. I don't know.
well, no, it wasn't just guppies. It was throughout the animal
I know you named a
kingdom.
couple. I get it. I get it.
Biological females
And
tended to be more promiscuous. So
they think humans are the same way, but they don't know. So you didn't really
wait,
prove
this is
anything
the
there.
only way that you would be able to even suggest that humans have a natural or hardwired innate thing as well. Like, you would need to show that this is consistent throughout nature, that the female side of things is being more promiscuous. If you're able to demonstrate
Okay.
that, then that supports the point. But again,
Okay.
I don't
Well,
think that whether or not it's natural makes any kind of a moral, it has no moral implication. If it's unnatural, I don't think it's immoral. If it's natural, I don't think that makes it moral.
Okay, well, you can go ahead and study the guppies and the mammals and this, that, and the other. Why don't you have a conversation with 100 men who aren't a part of your, community, like just randomly on the streets, and ask them if they would prefer a chick who, maybe only had experience with 3, 4 other men, as opposed to a chick who's been ran through by the whole entire fucking football team. I mean, I
Well,
think,
don't
we
you feel
can.
like if somebody's been like, yeah, I've had 200 bodies, okay? If there's somebody with a penis, I just fucking hop on, dude. If that's the
Right.
attitude, then I feel like there's a you should have some is it the word discretion? Is that what I'm looking for? You should have some discretion when entering sexual engagements. So if you're talking to a woman who seems to be incredibly frivolous and doesn't give a damn about who is using her body at times, I think if anything that could look bad, just like she's not a very responsible person because,
Well, there you
well,
go.
having sex is not. It comes with its own risks. There's STDs. There's the pregnancy risk. There are those problems. So I think that that can look bad, but I also think that you have to be ignoring the fact that whether or not guys are going to find a woman who's had a lot of sex partners versus few sex partners attractive is going to be pretty heavily socially based.
Okay, that's fair, and I think you're actually making my point, to be honest. But
How?
in some sense, because you pretty much said it yourself. It does. That's one of the reasons I don't really know, but if I had to take a fucking wild guess without reading a bunch of studies, just naturally, like, yeah, that's part of it. There is some type of lack of self-respect. I would argue that if you are, like you said, oh, look, a penis, let me
But
jump
don't
on
you
it.
think that's
Do.
the same way for men? Like, oh,
Yeah, but I
here's
think
a
it's very,
hole, let me just
yeah,
fuck it.
no,
Like that's
that's
that's the same
100%.
exact thing.
That's 100% the same thing. You're correct. You're
So
correct. But do you ever?
promiscuity is the problem, not just women being promiscuous.
I think that I think that women are typically not as repulsed at promiscuous men the way that men are repulsed at promiscuous women. And I know you want it to be equal, equal, equal. But the thing is, that's like one of the downsides to being a woman, I would argue, is that a lot of men will frown upon it. And even
Yeah.
if they act like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. No, seriously, it's not. Like Hunter, I mean, I don't know much about your wife. I heard she's a pretty awesome woman. Um, but
Hmm.
if you're, let's just say that it wasn't your wife, right? For the sake of argument, and you met some other woman, and she's like, she used to be a stripper. She's fucking banged like she don't even know how many guys, and you took her and you told your mom about her. You introduced to your mom, and then your mom found out that you're like her 600 dude. I'm pretty sure your mother would pull you aside and be like, "Honey, is this what you want? You're my son. I care about you. Are you sure?" Like,
Yeah, but it
there's a higher.
should be the same exact way. So, like, if a
It
daughter
should be,
came
but
home
it's
with her
not,
dad, no,
bro.
if a daughter came home and wanted to introduce her boyfriend to her dad, and she was like, "Yeah, this guy's been with like several hundred women," then he might pull her aside and be like, "This sounds like a guy who's just fucking women and then leaving them. He doesn't sound like he's really serious in regards to being committed. This might be a bad idea." Being like overtly and risking your own well-being for the sake of being promiscuous is an irresponsible thing to do whether you're a man or a woman, and that double standard is there, but you have to acknowledge that the double standard is largely social because being promiscuous carries almost the identical risks as far as, except that men obviously don't risk getting pregnant, but there's STD risks, there's the risk of emotional harm or heartbreak and all of these other problems. So sounds like being promiscuous just is what should be like kind of shat upon. But instead, it's like, what does Fresh and Fit say? Right? Men should be fucking like 200 girls. Women shouldn't be fucking around. How does that even make sense? How are you gonna go fuck 200 girls if all the women are being home, being good virgins? I feel like it's more
I
of a
just,
conversation about
I think,
promiscuity.
well, I mean, I think it is, but I also think the conversation could go deeper. I would argue that a man will fuck a hole, right? Like a lot of guys will. Okay, not all guys, but a lot of guys have no standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very dangerous game to play, especially in 2023, with all the shit that men deal with. I don't think that a man should just go around and do that for many reasons. Many being different than why a woman shouldn't do that. But I think for a man, hey, just be hot. A lot of times, I'm gonna offend some people saying this, but whatever. Don't be like morbidly obese and have fucking teeth. And a man you can get laid if you're a woman. But if you're a man, you have to do so much more than just be attractive. You have to have your life in order. You have to vibe. You have to make her feel comfortable. You have to do all the right things. And I think the reason that is because women typically won't just have sex with a guy because the guy's good looking. Some will, but a lot of times there's more emotions and shit that tie into it when a woman lays down with a man.
But
I
isn't
think
this the good thing
oxytocin and
then? Isn't this a good
no,
like this?
Hunter, it's a good thing. But my point would be that for a man, I think when a woman looks at a man, if a man has the capability to have sex with a lot of women. He had to do a lot of work for that. Whereas a woman could just go outside, be somewhat attractive, and be like, "You want to have sex with a random stranger?" And he'll probably do it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I mean, you could
Yeah,
sit
but some
there
of
and,
that's on men for being incredibly horny and willing to just fuck anything that moves,
Hunter,
right?
we can both sit here and be like, well, it should be this way or it should be that way. I'm not talking about what it should be. I'm talking about what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Like
No, I understand you're making a descriptive argument the same way that I describe like gender as being there's two genders right now. That's a descriptive argument. The
yeah.
problem is though a lot of the times is this descriptive claim gets mushed in with a prescriptive claim. So it goes from this is how it is to well this is how it is so that's how it should be.
Mhm.
Do you understand how like it
No,
could
I
be an issue
understand.
there? Like I agree there's a double standard, but I
Yeah.
also think that as far as the red pill stuff, I'm not saying that you made this argument, but like the red pill people talk all the time about how women are naturally better caregivers and ideally she would be the one submitting to the husband, maybe being like the stay-at-home wife. They haven't been like super upfront about what they think about that because they don't really want you to get married. But like if you're encouraging a dating context in which the woman is more or less expected to submit to the guy, then that is making it so that if a woman wants to settle down with a guy, she's going to need a guy who has the status or the wealth or the success because she needs to be provided for.
Mhm.
So like
Uh,
this is the thing is like talking about how it is boring. Talking about how it should be is far more valuable because you cannot simultaneously have the good woman who stays at home with the kids and doesn't work because working is bad and that's a lie from feminism and then simultaneously, well, why do women only want to get with guys who have a lot of money? Like, yeah, if you're saying you can't work, then you're going to need a guy who can provide.
Well, you said it yourself, Hunter. I mean, we can talk about how it is, or we can talk about how it should be. I'll tell you what. I wish we could all fucking have $1 million right now. I mean, imagine that. Boom. But that's not the reality. You know, look at what you had to do, Hunter.
But reality
Fuck.
can change. And as far as $1 million is a hell of a lot different than like, here's a social attitude that we have towards this behavior or this role or whatever. That, yeah, having conversations like this challenges those expectations and does push the world in a better direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think. Yeah. Wait. So you brought up Fresh and Fit though. Would you ever go on? Because I know Destiny goes on, and are you in Destiny? Cool. I don't really. Like, what's up with that shit?
I mean, I'm like, I'm not cool with him. I mostly just stick to my own shit. It's funny because people think that I'm like best buds with Vosh, catching up at the local lefty meetings or whatever. It's like I haven't even talked to Vosh one on one. It might have been over like a
Really?
year. I don't even watch Vosh or Destiny. I actually purposely avoid watching a lot of their content because I talk about the same issues and I don't want, even if it's subconscious, my opinions and whatnot to be shaped by what I heard Destiny or Vosh say.
Hmm.
So
That's interesting.
I usually just kind of avoid that altogether. But no, I would absolutely go on Fresh and Fit. I would actually love that. Um, but they're one of the worst offenders in that regard because they'll talk about like women being hypergamous and they always want to go for the high status guy, but they also want women to be good submissive housewives. If you're a good submissive housewife, you're going to need to be hypergamous because you need a provider.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Is there any other bars then before I start talking about your bars? Because you want to sit here and be like, oh well, you know, you said this and that wasn't right and that was. I mean, I could do the same thing too. You're pretty much generalizing.
Please
Like,
do.
how many people follow Fresh and Fit? They have like over 1 million subscribers. Maybe that's why you go after them. I don't know. But then again, you can say the same thing about me with your channel. So I guess that's not very fair. But what I will say though is, you can argue that there's millions and millions and millions of people, right, that subscribe to a lot of those beliefs just like there's millions and millions of people who subscribe to the beliefs that you're spitting out.
Hmm.
And I would argue that you took a whole entire community, quote unquote, and fucking dissed them and shit, which is fair. I mean, that's, you know, it's the internet, it's the game. Who gives a shit? But like, you know, to sit there and say that every single red pill guy is like an incel or some shit, it's just simply not true, Hunter. Like, I know a lot of people who are very good with women and they agree with a lot of the teachings of the quote unquote red pill community. It sounds so cringe to label it that. And a lot of those guys do eventually use I mean, you can use those abilities and shit and understanding like human psychology, female psychology to run around and be a fucking man slut. You can. Or you can also use those abilities to attract the woman of your dreams. The woman that you like. It doesn't mean manipulation or anything negative associated with it, but you can just understand, you know, just things that women are into. Like men, we're into things that there's
No, it's
things about
true.
women
Men
that
are
we
on
are
average
attracted
more
to, you
visual.
know?
Men are obviously like Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true that if a man comes up to a girl and she's in like a shit car, but she's hot as fuck, they're not going to give a single fuck about her car. But where women might be a little
Right.
bit more like, well, does he have success? Is he wealthy? What's his status? Kind of. There are
Mhm.
definitely going to be differences of what people are looking for and whatever. Um,
Right.
but I don't know how I like disingenuously grouped a bunch of the red pill community together. I mean, the
Oh, in
perspective
your
I was
song.
coming
In
from
your
was
song.
from, well, yeah, in my song, the song was
Right.
sung from the perspective of a guy who's single and terrible with women listening to Fresh
Mhm.
and Fit, or not Fresh and Fit, listening to the red pill community in
Right.
order to try to get with women, and then it backfired. So like that's the I wasn't saying every red pill guy is a single loser in the basement, but
Mhm.
I think that a lot of the people who consume that content, I mean, I'd be willing to I think they are, but I
Now,
don't know. I
where's
don't have
your
any data.
evidence?
I don't
Where's
have
your
any
data? Okay, okay,
I don't
okay.
have any study for it,
I
but
was wondering where your studies were. No, okay. Um, yeah, because that's what I'm gonna say. Like Hunter, how much experience do you have? Like, do you have like a little cousin or something or a brother who is terrible with women and loves Andrew Tate? Because to be honest, again, like I know you guys are gonna hate this. Chat's gonna hate what I'm about to say, but most people I know that do the best with women, a lot of them they might not listen to Andrew Tate, but if I would be like, "Hey, what do you think about what this guy says?" and I'll play a clip and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he's right. That is how it works." You know, I'm just saying, like you guys always go incel, incel, incel. It's like the only fucking. It's like I know you're gonna hate this, bots. I
well,
said
yeah, but
bots to
I
piss
don't
you
think
off,
I
but it's
just
like
call everybody. I definitely have called some of the viewers of Fresh and Fit incels. I know my last video specifically I did. So yes, I will call some of these people incels for sure. But when you talk about like, well, they have success with women or whatever, it also depends like what does that look for? What does that look like? Because I think for a lot of these guys, Fresh and Fit, specifically Andrew Tate, having success with women is I got to fuck a lot of hot bitches. For a lot of
Mhm.
people, and for what's most beneficial for men, is having success with girls is actually having success with the woman you want to be with and then committing to her. So like do a lot of these guys have girlfriends or are a lot of these guys just kind of shallow looking for the next hot chick to bang and then they're only around shallow women because they're attracting those types of people.
Mhm. Right.
So
Well,
that's kind of the approach I would take. Like all the all the studies that's going to become the meme now, but all the studies do
I want
there
10%,
no, but
10%
seriously,
consulting fee.
there are a good chunk of studies to suggest that there's really heavy correlation with longer life, better health, better sex with
Right.
marriage, and that's specifically for men. Like men uniquely benefit from marriage. Again, not always. There are plenty of marriages that go bad, and the woman's like a conniving evil bitch or whatever. But like,
Well, you know, women initiate most divorces, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I mean,
that's the very surface level look at it because you also want to know like, okay, so why do women do this. And that's why I talk a lot about a lot about these expectations with men like not showing emotion. I think that men being raised in an environment where they're told that being really emotional or being vulnerable at any time is like a beta, wimpy, bitchy thing to do. You're going to
right.
have a lot of guys who lack emotional intelligence. And so you're right that women have higher standards, whereas guys are like, I just want some hot chick. She's like, okay, if I'm going to be with this person, there's things that matter to me. And one of those things are going to be her emotional needs. And a lot of guys fall short at meeting those emotional needs because they don't even know how to manage their own emotional needs. Because all they were ever taught was be tough man, get girl, don't cry.
Mhm. Okay. Interesting. Well, Hunter, is there anything else that you want to chat about? Because I do have to get going. I think I mentioned it is my birthday. So for
Okay,
everybody in
well,
the
happy
chat,
birthday.
Jesus, you guys want to keep calling me the R word? I mean, you can call me that. I identify as ADHD because I'm pretty sure I fucking have it bad. But hey, but yeah, I do appreciate it, Hunter. But like I said, I don't got to run this very second. If you did want to bring something else up, and I'm looking forward to your diss track. I think we're gonna be like the next Biggie and Tupac.
Well, no,
Hopefully, we
I
don't.
understand that you have to get going. And it's your birthday, and I mean, we have been talking for a while, so I would probably get going here soon too. It's just,
Yeah.
I kind of just feel like I have the same issue that I've already voiced. I just feel like we're either just kind of giving our point, and then you're sort of like, oh, okay, what else? Like just move on.
Right.
Like it's not really.
No, no.
Someone in chat said it feels more like an interview than a debate, and I kind of agree with that. But it
Yeah.
makes it a little bit worse when this started because like you dissed me. So like
Right.
I'm fine
No, no,
with you
I got
dissing
you.
me, but I feel like you're kind of like backtracking on a lot of it.
Nah, I mean, listen, dude. I also don't want to like tie up your show. I know you want to debate and you want to fucking, I'm just not really down to fucking argue this very second. I'll be honest. I woke up and I fucking pulled up your YouTube because I don't know. I had a feeling you were gonna respond to it. So I pulled it up and I see it and I was like, ah, dude, I gotta wake up now if I can get to work. Like I gotta talk to Hunter. My brain only starts working at like 4 p.m. my time anyway. But I'd be happy to like, debate something specifically. Maybe I can have time to get my studies in order too. I don't know, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
But
mean, I'm fine with that. It's just even in your diss, remember you said that I'm really bold behind the keyboard,
yeah,
like as if
that's
I'm
in
like
res-
hiding behind the keyboard, but it seemed like that's what you did.
I mean, I'm being respectful, and I feel like you're trying to instigate a fight here. I don't know if you need the views,
I'm not
but
trying
no,
to instigate a fight. I'm pointing out the very obvious that when you
well,
accuse me of being
well,
a keyboard warrior, then
again,
you kind of act like a keyboard warrior. It's ironic.
again, no, I'm on your chat taking flack from 573,000 people, which congratulations for building that. I guess me being respectful is something that you're not used to. I don't know if like, did you ever talk to a conservative who's not a complete asshole? I don't
Wait, no,
know.
I'm fine
But
with you being respectful, but I feel like you're not really like contending with my points too much. You're kind of just like pivoting away from them. And
I
then you're
can say
like,
the
well,
same thing
maybe I
about
actually
you.
agree with this more. Maybe we kind of
No,
have
I can, but I
agree
feel
to
like you're.
disagree. Like that's not really an argument. It sounds like you're kind of
I said that
you're
one
backing out.
time. First of all, I said that once. Second off, you agree with some of the points I made too, so I can accuse you of the exact same shit. I feel like this is something that leftists always do. They accuse the opposition of what they are guilty of. Salowinski's Rules for Radicals talks about
What
that.
if I
I'm
tell
sure
what
he's
if
one of your
I have
heroes.
literally not walked back anything I
Oh,
said.
Hunter, you have acknowledged some of the points I talked about, specifically when we were talking about just different preferences that men and women have on the opposite sex, shit like that, shit that
No,
attracts men and women.
the
You
difference is
agreed with
our
some of the shit I
conversation,
said.
you're saying upon talking to me, you're finding that there's more clarity here, and maybe you actually are kind of not fully behind the idea, like at least as far as me being Grifter or whatever. There's that versus me just repeating of positions I've already held and repeated publicly on the channel a million
So
times.
you brought up keyboard warrior, or tough behind the keyboard. I forget what the hell I said. I wrote that all and recorded it in one day. Okay, you're talking about that again. That was in reference to the name calling. You have acknowledged that when you first got into YouTube, you did resort to more of that, and you still do it, but you
I
try
don't
to
think you
debate more in good faith.
I
I
understand
do
what I
understand what
do
you're
understand,
saying.
but I think that you don't get to take credit for that because
No, I'm not taking
I already was
credit. It's called
acknowledging
a
that.
conversation, dude. I'm not taking credit. Like, what do you mean taking credit?
Wait, I
I
accused you of
asked you.
walking shit back, and then you said, well, technically you walked shit back, but all I did was reiterate things I've already said,
You're
which
accusing me
could
of
have been
walking shit
available
back.
upon you making your diss track.
No, you're accusing me of walking shit back because I said, all right, that's a fair point, Hunter. You
Or
did make some
agree to
fair points.
disagree. Like,
I
that's
can't
pussy
believe it.
shit.
I said it one time. See, there you go. Pussy shit. This is what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Keyboard tough guy shit. You know
Wait,
what I'm saying?
this isn't keyboard shit. We're talking. And me
Okay.
saying pussy shit, come on. Come on.
Hunter,
I
you
admit
were
that I
winning
don't
me
need to be
over.
I
You
admit that
almost
I
got
don't
me to the left. I almost went left, dude. Like I was
I
this
admit
close.
that I have had a problem in the past with insulting, as I already have, but I also
Right.
am not going to play the respectability game of like, oh, be nice to my feelings. Like conservatives talked for so long about the facts over feelings thing, and now all of a sudden it's like they demand this ultra civility, be nice to me, don't ever call names. Like I didn't
Hunter,
call
you
any names
almost
during the
washed me.
conversation, but I called what you said pussy shit. Yes.
You almost vashed me, man. You were that close, Hunter. I would have. Oh man, I would have definitely been on your side, dude.
Oh
Seriously, you
man,
and
we
I could
lost
have
a
been.
true warrior out here. All
I
right.
know, no, it's okay. But listen, I was just saying that because you brought up, hey, well, what about the keyboard thing? And I'm like, well, you already the keyboard thing tied into the name calling thing, and that's where that bar came from. And you're gonna be like, well, there you go, you're walking it back. I'm really not. I'm just simply saying I can give credit where it's due. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, Hunter, you're can I say the S word? When
Shitty.
people hurt themselves, the what happened
Suicidal.
at the end of yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble. What happened at the end of your video, Red Pill Fiend, right? The
Hmm.
guy ended himself, right? Oh,
Yeah.
you're not being sympathetic to people who struggle with no, listen, I'm not doing that, but I have a feeling it kind of feels like you're doing that to me on some of the shit, but it's all good. You're sitting there
I don't know
accusing
what I think I just misunderstood what you were saying. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know what I'm doing
Well,
to you that's in relation to the suicide thing.
okay. Well, anyway, Hunter, think that's it. I don't really have anything else to say unless you had something, but yeah.
No, I just let it be known that I do appreciate you you being respectful and everything. I just think that next time maybe it'd be better to like push back a little bit more. But
No, we
either
can do
way,
that. We can do
I
that.
do appreciate the conversation, and I don't think that like I'm not gonna like start shitting on you when you leave or whatever. I just
No, that's
feel
cool.
like it kind of gave me keyboard warrior vibes, but we can always talk again. It's fine.
I mean, if I was a keyboard warrior, I wouldn't come on here and get owned by Hunter Avallone, a professional debater, when my brain don't even turn on until about 4 o'clock after I had like 3 cups of coffee. But Like I said, getting owned by Hunter on my birthday it was an interesting way to start the day. So, but anyway, I will say this, Hunter, congratulations on the YouTube success. Even though you're an evil capitalist, I will give you. I'm just messing with you. I don't understand how much work it takes to build a YouTube that big. I mean, I put a lot of time into just nearly breaking 1,000. So like, good work on that, dude.
Well, I
And
appreciate
to
it,
be
and
honest,
I'm trying not to be too confrontational because like I appreciate it, but then I'm like, instantly I remember your song, how you're like making fun of me because my views fell
dude,
off or like
it's
irrelevant. It's like
no,
sounds
I
like you're
was.
just being like, just
Nah,
sounds like you're
bro.
walking shit
Listen,
back.
I was Hunter. I got like 120 views on my song before. I'll probably get more now that we're having this conversation. But like, I mean, dude, you're gonna really get insulted about that when I can't even break 200 views in the first day on my channel. Like,
I'm not
it's all good,
insulted by
bro.
it. I don't really I don't I try not to be selective about whose critique or opinion or really any response to me is
Mhm.
serious or not just based on their amount of viewership. I think
I
that
mean, Hunter,
people
Hunter,
go
it
on the
was a
internet to
troll
voice their
video.
opinion. And so
Hunter, it was a troll video. Honestly, I mean, come on. You were trolling in your video. I was trolling in my video.
but you have
I
to see
made.
the difference, right? For my troll video, I can defend it.
Mhm.
I feel like for your troll video, you're not really defending it.
I'll defend it all day. Okay, let's talk about the antidepressants real quick, and then I'll leave you go. I mean, I don't think it's good to promote that to men. I don't think it's a good thing to promote. I
Okay,
think
let's
that
talk about that then for a few minutes, then we'll end this. But
no one. Yeah, I think that shit. I think that shit is more. I'm not saying there isn't like a handful of individuals it potentially helped. I know somebody who had sleep issues and their brain stopped creating serotonin because the melatonin was all screwed up. I'm not gonna claim to understand all that shit. I'm not a fucking brain doctor. But they needed some serotonin pills to get their brain right. But to sit there and just depend on antidepressants long term for the rest of your life, I don't think is a healthy message for men,
I
especially
agree.
when
I
studies
totally agree
show
with that.
that exercise and all that shit and correct diet can help that. And I think that should be the first thing. So like, I heard your debate with Sneeko, another guy that I think makes terrible arguments sometimes, but I think he was correct when he said you shouldn't be the voice of men's happiness when you take a pill. And I'm really not trying to come at you and I was making fun of you in the video because it was a troll video, but now that we're having a discussion, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm being direct to your face. I don't think it's a good thing to promote. That's all I'm trying to say. So
I mean, I
I don't
agree
know.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
if anybody's saying like, "Hey everybody, you don't need to do anything to get better. Just go pop a pill and everything will get magically better." Then that would be the dumbest advice you could ever give anybody. Like, of course. But I never have made that argument. I've deliberately said the opposite. That yeah, the medication is supposed to work in a way that helps you get out of a debilitating stage of depression. So when you talk about like going to the gym and going outside can be beneficial, you're right. There's studies, data to show that when you have a vitamin D deficiency, you're way more likely to be depressed. When you're overweight, you have way more risk of depression. Yeah, there are totally like health things that you can do and improve in order to try to get better from depression. However, what I would say is if you are able to successfully get yourself out of bed and go jogging and start working out, and that helps your depression, good. Don't go get on medication if your depression's getting better by itself. However, for people like me, even if I want to do the things necessary to improve, like go to the gym, when I'm in like a major depressive stage, it's debilitating.
Right.
You can't get out of bed or feel any desire or motivation to do anything involving like going to the gym or going outside. You want to lay in bed. You want to fucking die.
Sounds
So
weak, dude.
no, it's not weak. What's weak is looking at a problem that you have with your brain and then just thinking you can gym bro your way out of it. That's not weak. What is weak, or excuse me, what's takes strength is recognizing the problem, recognizing that at least for me, medication helped. I don't think medication's the answer for everybody. I also have never said that anybody should just go get on medication. This should always be something that happens with after you talking to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I mean, I've been really clear about all of this shit. It's just for some people, antidepressants can really help. And once you are out of that debilitating stage, you should go do other things to further improve your mental health. It's not, it's
Yeah.
never, it was never given, or this opinion was never delivered in a way that was like, just roll over and literally give up, pop a pill and you'll be fine. Like that's, no, you're going to have to work hard. A pill is not going to be the magic fix.
Yeah. No, I got you. I just, in my personal belief, I don't know. I think when you're in bed, and I've struggled with depression in my past too. Sometimes you just gotta get the fuck up and do it. And I know that sounds so. Well, that doesn't sound
You're right,
studied or
but
this, that, and the other.
no,
But
you're
sometimes
right.
that's fucking life, dude. Like you just got to do it. And for me personally, like to the dumbass in the chat say, "Well, he's on ADHD." I never said I was on ADHD pills. I think I have it, but I'm I'm not taking a fucking pill for it. You know, I mean, I think if there's
But
one
like,
thing that we
doesn't that
can,
seem weak? Where you're like, there's a problem, there's a potential medication option, but I'm just going to not do it because, like, I know that I'm not a brain expert either, nowhere near, okay? But
Okay.
we both know that obviously if you have ADHD, then there's a problem in your brain, the way that it's functioning, executive function, whatever. So,
I don't
like,
know. I don't.
this
I
isn't
would.
something you can just like exercise yourself out of.
But it actually is though, Hunter. Like that's the thing. Okay, so I can tell you from my personal experience, they wanted to put me on ADHD pills. Okay, they actually, when I was a kid, they put me on antidepressants for like 2 weeks. I had my best friend die. First, puppy love heartbreak. Not a good family life. And the antidepressants, I stopped taking them behind my parents' back, and I got myself out of depression by another one of your words you love, coping. Right, I had to cope and get through it, right, and I
But
did, and I feel like that's the same thing with ADHD, Hunter. Like,
no, it's
if
not
that,
because that's.
okay,
I'm
listen, if
sorry.
you
No, no,
let
no. I'm
every
sorry to interrupt you, and I know
you're
I've been
no,
interrupting you here, but I need to get this point of
you haven't been that
distinction.
bad, but go ahead, and I
But
want to finish my point.
if you're able to just like cope your way out of it in a couple weeks, it's not clinical depression. You're not able to just like cope your way out of
That's
ADHD.
my
Now it's
fucking
true. Hold
point.
on,
You're
wait.
making my point.
No, no, no. Wait. It's true that exercise and whatnot can improve ADHD symptoms, but it's
Mm.
not going to just cure ADHD. If you have clinical depression, then it's not like what you said. I had a bad home life. My dog died, and I feel really sad and hopeless. It's everything's fine. There's no external stimuli contributing to this, but you still irrationally feel hopeless and sad and like you want to kill yourself. It's
Hunter,
not if you're able to just get yourself out of it in a couple weeks, you had a bout of sadness for good reason. Your friend died. That's a
no,
rational response. That's not depression.
correct, but Hunter, but according to the expert, according to the medical expert, he said I was clinically depressed. I agree with you, and I think you're proving my point. You
No,
are
because
correct. I
it's
did have
possible
to
that you
get
were
through it.
suffering from a form of depression. There's situational depression, for example. But like I know for me taking antidepressants, it's for major depressive disorder, which is not like I'm sad for a couple days, so give me a fast fix pill.
I never said a couple days, but yeah, I get your argument. Okay, but I'm
Mhm.
not saying a couple days. Listen, I'm not going to get into that. No one cares. But I kind of feel like, with it, if you're saying it's not smart or tough or brave to go out there and pop an ADHD pill if I feel like I might have it, I'm just simply saying that if that's the case, Hunter, a good third of the country would be on ADHD pills, especially people over in fucking public schools and shit. It's a
Well, there's
joke.
already an issue with that, right? Isn't there already? Don't people already talk about like the problem with overprescribing some of this shit? Like that could be a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, I agree, but the thing is, it's like, I don't wanna take a fucking pill, dude. Like, my brain works differently than your brain. Everyone's brain works differently, right? Okay, now I feel like ADHD can be a gift and a curse. There's a lot of CEOs and successful entrepreneurs that have ADHD. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's downsides to it, but if you're smart at building teams and shit, I might be terrible at keeping up with paperwork. I can hire somebody for that. I might be super creative, right?
Hmm.
Blue pill, I don't know. I'm just saying there I don't look at it like it's a disability or anything like that. I just think it's the way I was created, and that's okay. I'm gonna go about life the way I'm going to. I think personally, giving up and taking a pill isn't the right way to go about it. I disagree with you. You
Okay.
know,
Well,
if it
the
works
thing
for
is, I never said that. Like,
okay, fair enough.
why is taking a pill synonymous with giving
Because you
up?
have
How the fuck is
Hunter,
that
you
giving up? If anything, that's taking the necessary steps to try and improve yourself, assuming you're diagnosed with major depressive disorder, not just feeling sad. But assuming you have a proper diagnosis, then there's nothing how are you giving up by taking a medication
because
that can maybe
I,
help
I
you get out of the debilitating stage so that you can further what? Improve your diet, go to the gym, start making better friends. These are all ways you
okay.
can improve your depression as well.
If you're somebody who, and I don't know what your plan is, Hunter, it's not my business, but if you're somebody who's going to take a pill for the rest of their life, I would argue that is giving up. If you feel like it's an effective strategy to get you over a temporary bump in the
It's not
road, and then
temporary. That's what you're not getting. It's like
no,
I'm
go ahead.
telling you
Okay,
this, but you're not
whatever,
hearing
whatever,
me. It's
whatever.
not
Go ahead.
temporary. That's the thing. That's what makes it a fucking illness that's chronic, that needs the medication.
Yeah.
It's like saying it's weak to take insulin if you have diabetes. Like some
Okay.
people need to take medication permanently, forever, for the rest of their life. I don't know if I'm going to be on pills for the rest of my life. I don't want to be on pills for the rest of my life,
And I hope
but
you're not,
I
dude.
would rather not be, or I would rather be on some pills rather than being to the point where I just want to fucking end my life because I have a mental problem. Like it's
Okay.
not like a being weak thing. It's not a character flaw any more than any other chronic illness is.
I just think that you have a big platform, and I think using it to tell men to and women to exercise, eat healthy would be a way better approach.
Did I
And
not
I know
say
you
that
said
multiple
that.
times here?
I know. Listen, can I finish? I know you have said that before, but it does seem like you do a little more promoting on the, popping the old pillies.
No,
I'm
I
just saying.
don't. I don't do more promotion. A lot of the times, though, it ends up focusing more on the efficacious or the effectiveness of some of these medications because people like you and other red pillars have like this weird obsession with people taking medicine. It's so strange to me. So yeah, usually the conversation ends up being around antidepressants and me somewhat defending their use because people are on here saying that it's giving up and it's weak and it means you're a beta when in reality that's just not true.
All right. Well, listen, Hunter. We can have a more. We can talk about something maybe specifically. Like we can pick like an issue or two or three and just focus on those. Instead of talking about like a half troll fucking diss track. I think if you want a more like back and forth debate, I'll have some time to prepare to get my studies, and we can have a discussion on that if you're open to it in the future. But I will say once again, congratulations for the success on YouTube. And I'll be honest, I really didn't like you as a person because I watched a lot of your name calling videos. But
Fair.
after talking to you, I think you're a pretty good dude. I disagree with you on a lot of shit. But like I said, I do appreciate you being way more respectful than I thought you were going to be. So thanks for giving me a platform to debate you on my birthday,
Yeah.
and it's been fun, man.
All right. Well, hey, happy birthday. And, even if I don't end up dropping a diss track on you, it's going to just be
Do
a
it,
broad
bro.
diss track on like
No, do
the
it, dude.
haters who make the arguments. So
No, you don't want to diss me specifically because I will fucking smoke you, bro. Trust me.
probably, yeah. Well, hey, happy
All right.
birthday. Thanks again for coming
Thanks,
on, and I
buddy.
will see you later.
All right, see you guys.
We're doing a YouTube rewind back to like 2017 with a bunch of diss tracks back and forth. Sounds like fun.
I can't believe this fucking loser actually tried to diss me. We all know if it got him views, he'd get down and fist me. Your corny flows, they miss me. My flow is better pissing. I can write a lyric with speed, even if I sip the whiskey. You're labeling me gay, calling names to dismiss me. Limp dick sissy, rapping bitchy, sounding wimpy. Millie bucks, it ain't enough to get you a personality. Your girly fucks you, here's what's up, it counts as bestiality. You suck at trying to beat me when you really wanna be me. You a bum and kinda weaselly, allow me to precede thee. Apparently you need the clarity just to see what is lacking your vocabulary. It's called integrity. I took a jump, risked the dream, I could have lost everything, but inside I got no shame. And besides, I'm not afraid of dummy lames who smear the name. Really seems they want the fame. Give them some, smear their brain. Verbally, I bring the pain. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. You really wanna diss me just for taking medication, bro? Accusing me of cherry picking all the education, yo. Apparently your brain is busted, I don't think it made it, no. I hope you know you're lower than the major population, ho. Check some narration about your mama's gestation. She's at the gas station and she's broke and getting wasted. Now check the translation, don't need no notation. Your mama starts pacing, she birthed a damnation. Heart palpitations when we're seeing the duration that this nation will be facing. You the greatest mutation. We embracing salvation when I'm saying that I'm racing just to see that you're castrated. Gonna make you the new Caitlyn. Wasn't even trying to get the stacks, but it happened. You couldn't get dough with the Pillsbury rapping. You just a dumb hoe, man. The facts, you don't got 'em. You're not the bigger man, dog. You reek, you a bottom. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I'm out here on the battlefield, brains verbally impaled. Only way you'll get a life is if you order from the mail. You could be the bigger male, but you just a beta male. Listening, you go and pale. Kinda fat, you broke the scale. Need the meds, it's time to rail. Blue and small, they're all for sale. Chuck the gods, I'm Israel. How the fuck do I prevail? Why the fuck you always fail? Suck to win, no avail. Trying to duck, but here you wail. Leaving cucks and need a braille. You're just a dweeb, you ain't a king. You never seen the fancy fling. Honestly, the funny thing is that it's dead up in your brain. Black and throne, I'm the goat. Hands are wrapping round your throat. I'm like a shark, you a joke. Should've brought a bigger boat. I'll let you poke before you choke like older folks sniffing coke. You're prone to clone the solid stone. Here you go, take some notes. Now you know you should've wrote. Never going toe to toe. Leave you bloody all alone. Never dissing Avallone. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack. I don't change views for a rack or some stacks. I just got moves and a backbone intact. You always lose, not a feel, it's a fact. You do what you do just to fit with the pack.